Hey everybody, JC here. Happy Friday afternoon. It is noon on the dot here in Porter, Texas. About to head out to the Woodlands to the Tesla Delivery Center and Service Center. And we're going to use Tesla FSD version 13.2.8 to do it. Let's go. Push the little blue button. Start heading out of my driveway. It's going to take a left. Go through my street. Take a little right turn here, rolling right. Avoid the Ford Mustang. There you go. Get up to the stop light, or excuse me, I should say stop sign. We're going to take a right turn here. No oncoming traffic. It has the right of way, but there's none coming. And there we go. Now we're out of my street and into my neighborhood. So yeah, we're going up to the Woodlands today. I should say up and over to the Woodlands, to the Tesla Service Center and Delivery Center there. Some of the folks in the local Houston Tesla community are putting on a cookout in support of all of the Tesla employees there at the Service Center and Delivery Center. They are not open on the weekends, so they decided to do it on a Friday afternoon. So yeah, I'm just going to go out there for a little bit, show my support, meet up with Bruce, ex-Pac-Man on X, say hey to him. He's going to be out there as well for a little bit, and have a nice little drive to the Woodlands. It is going to take us about 45 minutes today. We're going to be mostly on highway today. I'm going to take 59 East Tex Freeway north up to Highway 99. Take Highway 99 all the way over to Interstate 45, and then take Interstate 45 north all the way up to 242. And that should get us close to the delivery center. So a lot of highway driving today, but that's fine. You see things emerge on the highway driving stack as well. Or I shouldn't even say stack, it's all one stack. One thing I wanted to do, I'm doing my little preamble right now, but I am about to join into a Spaces on X. So X, formerly known as Twitter, they have a thing called Spaces. I think you've probably heard me tune into a few of them before. And the one today is hosted every single Friday at noon Central by Alexander Kristensen, who is a Tesla community member over in Sweden. And so I guess when you think about the time change, this is about the time he knocks off of work on Friday, gets his weekend going. So it's always a fun space to be a part of on Friday afternoons, a little bit more loose. We obviously talk about a lot of things Tesla, a lot of things AI, a lot of things geopolitical, all of that stuff. But obviously it being a Friday afternoon, it's a bit more loose, a bit more fun. So yeah, I am going to go ahead and enter into that space here in a second. I'm not going to do it right now because I want to continue supervising, but probably when we get up to the stop sign up here and we make our right turn, I should be good to go ahead and get into Alexander's space. So yeah, for the just before that, yeah, just to close out the preamble, that's the drive today, heading up and over to the Woodlands. Again, looks like it's about 41 minutes of driving, 30 miles. So we'll just see what happens along the way and have a nice little drive here in Southeast Texas, the Houston area. It's about 86 degrees. It is a bit muggy today. So let me go ahead, should be good now to, well, let me go ahead and make sure it gets to a complete stop before I do that. There we go. Start listening.
The one who, when the market's down, I kind of get excited because I'm young and I'm ready to buy more. So buying the dip, you know, it's all good.
Welcome, Town. It's been a couple of weeks. What you up to?
Well, Alexander the Great, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm trying to be respectful to everybody around me. What has been pretty awesome, despite missing your space, which has not been awesome, I got to get to know some of those later night spaces when I'm up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Everybody else over there is like, it's almost close to midnight or whatever. So Diana's space and all these other people, it's been interesting. I don't know.
We are over the railroad
I really
tracks.
can't talk too much. I'm just glad to be awake for your space. And hopefully this will continue maybe in the next week or two. Hopefully I'll be back to normal.
HT, where are you?
Domo arigato is in Japan, probably.
Zama City, baby.
There you go. I had a feeling. How is everything going great?
Well, wife caught COVID. But the joy of that is that we haven't been spending any money. And so every time I had like money to spend over here and we didn't spend it, she turns around and goes, "Where'd that money go?" And I go like, "Shh, don't worry about it."
Tesla. You're buying Tesla.
Yes, sir.
Buy Tesla. Yeah. Anyways, there's been a lot of news this week as well, but I don't know. Like, it's some of this news might be like April Fool's joke. I don't really know it. So let's see. One thing I do know wasn't April Fool's joke was Tesla's new FSD supervised early access program. So, like, why do we need this if unsupervised is like close to being a real thing? Why do we need a supervised like beta testers right now?
I mean, I can. Okay, but that's.
No, you go. Sorry.
I just can give my take. I mean, I think the supervised FSD is still the feature, the software that people will have in the car, and the unsupervised one will be a robotaxi service at start, at the beginning. Now, the people with early access will have, the newest updates.
Great job. Great job.
Some feedbacks. They need more people. Dallas, did you sign up?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to get access, so feeling pretty fortunate. I think you're spot on, Ellie. I mean, I track exactly how you're feeling on this. I think this allows them to get even more permission from the driver, right? If you read the fine print, it's on a whole nother level of data collection that a standard FSD user would not be condoning to, and I'm sure they would, given the opportunity, right? Because we all want to be using the latest and greatest, but if you read the EULA of the standard FSD license or supervised beta, and then the early access, I mean, there is a substantial bit more of, okay, yeah, you can do these things, and I'm not the legalese guy to tell you all those particular terms, but Omar was mentioning that last night, and I thought that was interesting. But that being said, clearly the best way for them to collect data at the moment is from supervised FSD. They can get a hell of a lot of data from watching drivers or doing sims, watching drivers in emulation mode, but having a driver behind the wheel adds an entire another kind of tertiary layer of data collection where, okay, what did the car do, but then how did the human react? So unsupervised data is great. It's awesome. But supervised data, in my opinion, from what I've heard through all the spaces we've sat in, is the gold standard, because you're not only getting feedback from what the computer tried to do, but okay, well, how did the human being react? So I think it's critical data, and I'm excited because I think JC and I agree. I think this means that something big might be coming down the pipe. We went an entire quarter without a major FSD update, so everyone's kind of on the edge of their seat, and seeing things like this is a good sign of something big to come.
So you have to subscribe or like have bought FSD, right, to be able to apply for this, right?
Yeah, and it's not just like anyone can apply. From what I at first I thought, since it was rolling out, if I got it, I assumed it was wide because I'm nobody. But I guess only some people got it now. Is kind of what I from what I collected. But there's like a button that pops up as if there was like a software update. It looks on your screen, and then you just click it. You read the 3 boxes that no one probably reads, and then you just click and roll. And it's really deceiving because it just goes away. You're like, well, what the hell am I in this thing? And then I found out later there's a tiny word at the bottom that says early access. And a big blue button that your brain wants to push, JC, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And that's the unenroll button. So I'm like, okay, who the hell designed that? But yeah, that's it. Other than that, I got no capture button in my car. I don't have any of that. It's just, there's really nothing there. So we'll see.
Alex, I think some of the people that subscribed also got into the early access program, from what I could get.
Yeah, I'm a subscriber. Yes, to answer your question, yes. Owners of FSD and subscribers. JC's kind of collected the fact that most of these people seem to be in Texas. I don't know if that helps, but that seems to be a data point we're seeing so far.
Do anyone know if Omar pressed the button or he is automatically selected?
It's already in this program before they send this new feature, anyway, if you want to call it.
Yeah. Essentially, they grew that program that he was already a part of to a ton more people than were in it. I think it was an extremely limited number of people to start, and this new additional kind of first wave, what they're calling it, is grown at like 100x from what it used to be.
If you want to call it circles, so you have the employees, you know, the executives, all the insides of Tesla, and then within the public, it's Omar and these kind of people, and now it's wider.
Yeah, it's funny to me as a Swede, you're living in Europe, seeing like other Americans complain that I didn't get, I'm still on version 13, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, guys, like, fuck you. I'm in Europe. I have like basic autopilot with a 5-year-old fucking hardware stack.
Alexander, fuck you. You have Summit. We don't even have Summit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
5
1-inch summon. Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of funny to see other people cry when they already have like a really awesome software on the car to begin with. So, but I guess, I mean,
Another caveat that seems to be the case so far, I have yet to see a Hardware 3 user invited to the early access testing group. If someone has been, that'd be great to hear. I'd love to hear that. But so far, the only people I've heard that were invited were AI4 vehicle owners, and then it seems to be like mostly in Texas, with the exception of a few people I heard outside of Texas.
If I had an AI3 car, this would be like the biggest incentive for me to be like, yep, it's time for an upgrade.
Yeah, and speaking of like older systems or older cars, we still have like Model Y, the old Model Y in Sweden that you can buy. It's inventory, obviously, but they have really cool rebates on those right now. I think I saw last week you could get an Model Y Performance. It was like a demo car, so they had like a couple of miles on it, but it was like $58,000 roughly. That might seem much to you, but in Sweden, like a Model Y Performance usually costs like 75,000, I think, if you want like FSD and fully kit. So that was really good rebate, and that is with no like tax incentive or anything. So you can make really good deals right now on the inventory cars.
Are you spending US dollars? Is that in US dollars?
No, I'm just making it into US dollars for you guys, because if I said like, oh, for 580,000 Swedish crowns, that would say nothing to like 90% of the listeners right now. So, but like $1 is equal to exactly 10 Swedish crowns right now. So it's easy to convert in your head. But you guys still, you can only buy the launch version, right? The launch Juniper version in the US.
Yeah, no, that is correct. Yes, sorry. I was waiting for someone else to answer, but I realized I'm the only American on the speaker board, so I'm holding it down over here.
Rude. What do I look like?
Well, you're a listener on my screen, so welcome to Space Box. You're a listener, even Hustletown's a listener, and I've been hearing him talk, so I don't know who the speakers are.
Yeah, the launch series. I just got over here in Japan. Like, they're just showing it. You can do test drives over here on April 11th. That shit's fresh looking. I haven't really been back to America to see anybody, but awesome.
So we get a couple of requests to speak. Scoble is here. Welcome, Scoble. How are you doing? Imagine if you just heard in the background right now. That would be funny.
I'm driving right next to a big semi-trailer. It might happen.
Yeah, you can't trust semi trucks. Like, that is like death machines on the road, really. Like, you have some truck driver that's a bit tired, fall asleep, and yeah, everyone is.
That happened to me when I was super young. But the driver of an 18-wheeler fell asleep behind the wheel and hit our car and pushed us into 2 lanes of oncoming traffic where we got hit 3 more times.
Oh.
Everybody lived, which was wild. If you saw our vehicle, you would not have guessed that everyone lived. But yeah, they do fall asleep behind the wheel often, apparently.
I just passed a semi-trailer full of new Model Ys coming out of the Fremont factory. Hopefully that guy doesn't fall asleep, because that would be a PR disaster.
They have like much more stringent laws now too for commercial truck drivers, because I guess it was happening so often. So they have like apps that like track them, and they must stop and rest for like a certain period of time based on the length of their drive. So I shouldn't say it happens often. It used to happen often, and now I think it's under control.
By the way, if you're on a long road trip in a Tesla, listen to the screen. If it
Look at that.
You only need 10 minutes at a supercharger.
Now, we did have a lead
only
truck.
Spend 10 minutes at a supercharger.
Still,
You'll
very
get to where
impressive.
you're going faster, because it's highly accurate now. It's really a dream to be on a road trip now in a new Tesla. My Tesla's 7 years old.
I love that you said that, Robert, because people do have this weird feeling that they either can beat it or they need to use a third-party app. And I was one of those people years ago. I was like, I'm not going to use a Tesla app. I'm going to use a better route planner or something else. Man, they have dialed it in now, like within the Tesla app. And I just use the screen of the car. Some people use the phone app, but I dug into this with Grok, and they said Tesla now accounts for everything down to wind, weather, battery temperature. Like, the variables involved in the calculations now are so insane. It very rarely is off by even more than like 1 or 2%. And usually it's conservative, actually, which is great. So I struggle to beat it.
P. Cooper, welcome to the speaker board. I think you're a new speaker in my space. What's up?
Thanks for having me, yo. Just enjoying the Tesla talk.
That's nice. Did you have anything to add?
You know, I'm still working on a good thought. Give me a few minutes if you don't mind, and I'll come out with a real banger.
That is like me all the time, 24/7.
The best I can do right now is a custom emoji. Does that interest anybody?
Yeah, sure. You can hang out for a while if you want to have something to add. Just go for it, I guess.
You're too kind. Thank you.
I know.
Feel free to put me to listener if I don't come out with something good soon.
Sweet. So there have been sightings this week of like Model 3, which is like they configured like the cameras so it resembles a Cybercab. Maybe not surprising, really, but I mean, is this because they don't have enough prototypes, or what is going on here?
I mean, it seems to be for data collection, just to, we saw things like this happen before the Cybercab event, and in my opinion, they must be doing this to kind of dial things in just before the June unveiling of the Austin Robotaxi beta test. So, yeah, I think it's just purely, immense data collection. As far as the details of that, I'm not the right guy to ask. I would probably divert to a Sierra or a Robert.
A researcher at SRI, which is where a lot of the things in our world came out of a lab in Menlo Park, said that the reason they're using high resolution LiDARs to map out a certain place is to align the maps more accurately and reduce errors in the mapping system. They'll drive it on main roads and get a really high accuracy rate to align the maps together. And when they're turning on Robotaxi, having an accurate map of the city is really important. So you'll see them driving that kind of car around a place that they're gonna turn on a new system on, like Austin or Palo Alto right now. But you'll see them elsewhere as well.
Sweet. Scoble, can you try to mute yourself when you're not speaking?
Sure.
Thank you. But like what we talked about earlier with the early access program, it still seems weird to me when you see like the testing unsupervised and then they want to test supervised at the same time, and the unsupervised is set to come in like just a couple of months, and they want to gather data. This must mean like if you're requesting to speak, requesting for FSD right now, you kind of have to get this in like a couple of days, right? It's like hurry mode right now on the Tesla AI team, right? Maybe not. We can move on. We have also people have been of this. There will be a company update 1 hour before the coming earnings calls in later in April. So do you think there will be like a product unveil for this for this company update, or will it just be like this is what we are working on
the call 22nd?
No, not on the call, but before the call. I think they will have like an event before 1 hour before the call, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, I sure hope so, but if I'm not mistaken, the timeline should be around June, like just before I have, like the second half of the year or something. That's what I remember. Maybe I'm mistaken with something else.
What?
Potentially, Alex, potentially it's the base model Cybertruck single motor. I've heard, some people talking about potentially this is the time frame you would expect that to be announced. And now that, Cybertruck production is a pretty well-oiled machine, I don't think it'd be that difficult for them to add a variant and open up the market to a whole new level of, buyers that maybe can't justify a over $1,000 a month car payment. To open that up to people with, a couple $100 less a month, that'd be great. I'd love to see more Cybertrucks on the road, and I think that's a great way to do it.
You mean they're gonna have like an event just to announce this? That doesn't feel.
No, I didn't say that. I don't think there will be an event for that. I wouldn't be surprised if you said announcement. So I could see an announcement like that. But as to an entire event, I think unless it's something like a lower cost vehicle, I don't foresee that happening.
I would like to see an Optimus roadmap. So that's my hope for whatever the update is.
Yeah, I would too. Sierra, from what you see in the humanoid robotics sector, like where I know they don't show a whole lot compared to some of the other companies, but like where do you see Optimus in progression of like rate of progress right now on Optimus's program versus the other guys in the industry on humanoid robotics?
Nobody likes me when I answer this question. And let me lead with, I hope that I'm wrong. We do know that Tesla plays things very close to the chest, and we've got companies like Figure who are flaunting demos, which like also is suspicious to me. So I have seen some very, very advanced and rapidly advancing humanoid robots over the last 3 months specifically, and I'm hoping that Tesla just has some stuff that they're not showing us.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Is it safe to say that the more progress within the more progress they have in the program with Optimus, the less they want to show, like, for them to do all the demos, it's like for recruiting and to show us that it's really happening. But if we are getting closer to the finish line, they will show us less and less as the time goes. Is it something that it's safe to assume?
I think that does seem to be the way with Tesla, and I don't disagree with that method at all. I just, on the other hand, when I see these Chinese bots coming out every day, every single day, I see a new Chinese manufactured humanoid bot that was trained up really quickly, and I don't know. The chest and just wait until you're ready to deliver like a product. This is the Apple way, and they've been very successful in it. Like, Apple doesn't talk about what they're doing in the future. They're just like, hey, look what we've done. I don't know, though. I wish I had more. There's PE's custom emoji. I dig it.
Let's go.
Yeah. I don't know. I would love to hear other people's thoughts on it. My instinct is that it's definitely more advanced than what we have seen. However, I wasn't super impressed by the latest gate update demo. So, I'm like probably not the most optimistic person in the room on the Optimus front.
Sierra, I wanted to ask you and anybody else, what's like the most impressive humanoid demo you've seen yet? If you have one in mind.
Unitree is a kicking butt, and they're just so mega, like, stupid cheap that it's alarming. Then this is not a finished product yet, but it is advancing so incredibly rapidly that I wouldn't sleep on it. Clone robotics. I think it's safe to say I'm a clone maxi right now. And they are US based, which is amazing. But I definitely a company to watch, and they are moving very, very very quickly and managing to produce extraordinarily inexpensively. Also, big fan. Oh, there were some sick demos today from 1X's Neo. So Neo's training up quite quickly. They're not US based, but they're not China, so that's good.
So, like, Sarah, what do you think? Do you think like Tesla is close to have like a unified model which can do like basic things as like walking, picking up objects, navigate the world, and all in one? Because it seemed to me right now it's like, oh, we uploaded a walking model, and now we're uploading the wave to the crowd model, and so on and so on.
Sure, that's a great question, and the way that robotics are trained, and it might feel a little counterintuitive because we look at our cars that drive themselves and we know that they were trained on 300 hours of video of cars driving. But really, driving a car, though a multifaceted skill set, it is one skill set. So the standard in training robotics is skills based. There is something called zero-shot learning, where you kind of just like throw a bot into a situation it's never been in before, and it uses its relatable knowledge to try and solve the task at hand. So that is the thing that a lot of them can do. And what I mean by that is, like, maybe you have taught the bot how to grasp a gallon of milk by the handle, but you have never handed it a tank of carrot, which also has a handle. So zero shot would mean it would look at the tank of kerosene and in its robot brain kind of relate that to the gallon of milk and approach its attempt to grasp the can of, or not can, whatever thing of petrol, based on how it knows to grab milk. So there are kind of like lingering or like fringe skill sets that it will just pick up as it goes, but they won't be like incredibly advanced skill sets. Like I wouldn't say if you've taught a bot nail gun that would like transfer to being able to use a screw gun if it's never been trained on using a screw gun, because though the tool looks the same, the like actual application of what you're doing with it are very different, and it probably will to on its own figure out how to utilize the screw gun. So it was a long-winded answer for no, they are kind of going to be one skill set at a time, or batched skill sets. When it comes to like fine motor skills and dexterity with the fingers and stuff, perhaps we start training like a plethora of similar skills and then send it out into the field and let it use some zero shot learning to try and attempt new like fine motor skills with its dexterity. But for the most part, most skill sets will be individually trained, and some of those might be by us, the robot owners. They can learn a lot through watching and then attempting, again using that zero shot learning, where now at least this will be one shot where they've seen it but not tried it. So if you show it how to do something, then it might be able to attempt it, and it probably will fail the first time, but there will be a growing level of self-correction that happens when approaching new skill sets. There's also so many beautiful open source models for training and simulant now that I think the rate of acceleration in which we see these bots learn new skills is just going to continue to rapidly advance. Like the reason we saw 4 new updated gate demos in the last 3 weeks is because of one very specific open source model on Gate that everybody got their hands on, used, trained up their bot, and now they're all
Nice
working
courtesy gap FSD gave that young gentleman.
So when you see like robots, when you see these demos, when they move really slow, is this because they can't the model is so big that they can't infer the model fast enough, or is this just because of like safety reasons?
It could be a combination of the two. I think it depends on the skill set being approached. If the skill set being demonstrated is something newer that the bot has learned, just like a human, when we first learn new skills, we often are a little bit slower in executing them. And then repetition happens.
Nice.
And you're able to get a little quicker. When it comes to like factory scenarios where we see them like moving heavy pieces of equipment or parts, etc., I do believe that the speed is safety related there.
Okay. But obviously also like, load would also affect speed, right? Because you can't do 100% on the actuators, because that would do like, just break things, right?
Depends on the bot, but it could.
I see. Oh, Landon is here also. Yeah, I should know because I let him up. Welcome, Landon. How you doing?
Thank you very much. Appreciate you. You could have some of these co-host experts down here help you out. That's great space so far. Thanks for having me here.
Thank you, Landon. You're so nice. Usually you come up here and criticize and give me a 4 out of 10 and so on. But this week you are in a good mood.
To give you a peek behind the curtain, here's what the great Oz does, is he recognizes that as well. And so sometimes he just stays as a listener now for a while and rants and seethes to himself in his own kitchen, and then somehow manages to get control over his Vulcan human emotions, and then comes up and reminds himself that the best way to catch flies is with honey, not with vinegar, but who would want to catch flies anyway?
I don't know if that was a compliment or not, but I'm just going to pretend that it is. So thank you, Landon. So
you're welcome. Here's my humanoid robotics question for Sierra and her panel. Is since I'm asking this as a question because I'm out of my area here, but have others questioned whether this is version 2 or version 3 of Optimus, and perhaps not showing off that latest, newest hand? And so that might be kind of is that a sandbagging trick to say, okay, we got this walking to work, and we can even make it work on hardware 3 Optimus. Wait till you see hardware 4 Optimus.
That's an excellent question, and to be honest, I didn't look at the hands. I was focused on the gate, so let me go re-watch the video. But my uneducated, like speculative answer would be you definitely have different teams training up the hand is so important. There is likely an entire hand team, and that's all they do is hand stuff. And the gate is not really affected by, I know, very suggestive. The gate is not affected by the hand whatsoever. So whether or not the hand was present, I gotta go double check the video. But would it be relevant? Really? No. If that makes sense. So I think I'm like really looking forward to a dedicated hand demo. I want the hand team to get to show off their handiwork. No pun intended there, just happened organically.
Very good. Very good. So part of my question, I did not state it very well, is, so Elon last year said something like, this is the second generation of Optimus, and the third generation of a product is often where it really can stretch its legs and come into its own. So, and he's indicating that was going to be completed at the end of last year or the beginning of this year, or I guess completed is not the right word. But so this is probably just the old one, definitely not some kind of new form factor. And what do you think about that, and what do you expect from that reveal?
I think that and this is another thing I would love to be wrong about, because I personally would love to see the weight come down. That's super important to me, not as relevant probably to the wonderful gentleman up here on the panel, but the current weight of Optimus is 175 pounds, and for me, a 5 foot tall, 95 pound female, that's not going in my house, not because I'm afraid it's going to hurt me on purpose, but if it falls on me, if I trip over it, if the robot becomes disabled in any way, I can't move that. I'm not moving 175 pounds of dead weight. So I'd love to see the weight come down, and I'm sure it will eventually over time, but probably not right away. As far as the physique of the form factor, beyond the hands changing, I don't expect to see a whole lot. They might have to, walking is great, and we talked about this a few days ago yesterday rather, in Ellie's space, but the real next challenge after walking that none of the bots currently have mastered is stairs. Going up and down stairs is very difficult for humanoid robots, and a part of that is balance and stability control, but another part of it is the actuators and joints and degrees of freedom in the ankle and foot of the bot, and also the knee. So I guess I'm going to eat my words. I imagine that those things will be upgraded in the next hardware version. The knees, the ankles, and perhaps something with the feet. They have a very basic foot right now, which is fine and great. But I'm sure that as they iterate on more mobility challenges, especially with changing terrain and stuff, they might decide to tweak what is going on with the foot.
Scoble, go ahead.
I spent the day this week at Stanford's robotics conference, where they had a bunch of smart people speaking, and it's clear that we are over expecting what the robotics industry can do right now in terms of getting in our homes. The research that is being shown is showing that it's not ready for our homes. And if you look at it from a different point of view, the markets are not ready, are not fulfilled. This first Optimus is designed to work in the Fremont factory, doing simple tasks like taking a fender off of the stamping machine and putting it on a cart. That is what Elon is aiming this thing at for the first year. And if you look at the reinforcement learning, I interviewed the guy who did the dancing Chinese robot. He said it's not ready yet. Yes, it can dance, and it can flip, and it can do some amazing things, but it's a long way from getting into your home, turning your socks that are inside out, and doing your laundry. The laundry stuff that I saw at Stanford was pretty amazing, because it could fold laundry and organize laundry and even deal with a human changing the laundry on the robot. But it was not demonstrating with real life laundry, which is inside out shirts and a chaos of, shirts stuck inside, sheets and stuff like that. It's still a fairly simplistic thing that they're demonstrating, not real life. Now, on the other side, look at what reinforcement learning is doing. It is learning very fast. The simulators are getting much better at simulating things. In fact, Elon told me they have a stair simulator, and that stair simulator would have would look like real stairs, and it would have hundreds of different kinds of stairs: narrow stairs, spiral stairs, wide stairs, stairs with people on them, wet stairs, icy stairs, right? And they're running right now. They're running a virtual robot millions of times a day up and down those stairs with different kinds of tasks that they have to do, holding a pizza, holding a bag, right? And you're starting to see the payoff of that kind of R&D. And that's what I'm expecting at the next AI Day, is to see the advancements in the R&D. Go back to FSD. I see Omar's here. Omar and I have been using FSD for a long fucking time. You know, I'm in FSD right now. It's driving on Highway 5. I'm not paying attention to the road. My hands have not been on the steering wheel for 2 hours. That was not true in the early days of FSD. I would be watching this thing like a hawk because it wasn't very good in the early days. And that's sort of where we are with the humanoid robot. So if you give the humanoid robot team 7 years like we have with FSD, you're going to see amazing, amazing things. So if the world that we're talking about, if it's 7 years from now, absolutely. It's in our homes. It's in our businesses. It's doing a lot of things. Grok is integrated with it. You're talking to it. It's interacting with you. It's safe, right? But we're not there yet. We're in the early days of FSD with robotics, and we got to keep that in mind.
Sierra, you're a co-host. You can do whatever you want.
Well, I wanted to welcome Omar too, but like real quick, I wanted to say 2 things based off what Scoble said, and one of them is based on what we just heard about the stair simulation data. I think that we as a community should like really push for the first stair demo of Optimus to be on doing the Rocky stairs. Just saying, I think it'd be fun. I want to see Optimus run up the stairs like Rocky. And then secondly, oh shoot, did I lose my second point? Oh no. Damn, I did. Well, let's welcome Omar. Hi, Omar.
Hello, Omar. How you doing? How's the general feeling of today?
Hey. Yeah, not a great day in markets, but, you know, the way things are going, things keep changing every day. Who knows what's going to happen next? But, yeah, people are worried.
Yeah, it seems to me that, like, I don't know, it's just a general feeling what I see on posts and stuff that, like, tech bros are mad right now. People that were so like, oh, Trump 100%, now it's like, oh, this is not good.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of fear. It's kind of an unpredictable situation, and I don't think that people have confidence that this administration has a good understanding of what it's doing. You hear a lot of arguments that kind of don't really make sense, economically speaking. But, you know, it's hard to figure out if this is going to be a long-term situation or there's going to be some kind of change. It's kind of unpredictable, so I'm hoping that somehow things calm down, but right now it seems like it's just escalating.
Yeah, we were talking about Optimus earlier, and I want to come back to Optimus again, but I want to ask on like the tariff side, like, because as I understand it, all superchargers are made in New York, right? So if Tesla is going to build like new supercharger sites around the world, and you have higher like tariffs, will that like affect Tesla's ability to build new superchargers around the world?
I'm going to go try to look it up, but I think they build them in China too.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, they build superchargers in China and in New York, but a lot of the power but a lot of the power electronics come from different places in the world, especially Asia. So it's going to bring up the cost of, installing new supercharger sites.
Yeah, because today China set tariffs on
I'll
the US,
simplify
right?
it. Everything's going to get more expensive. There's nothing that's not going to get more expensive. Even if there's somebody who's producing something 100% domestically with 100% domestic parts, the fact that they had foreign competition was putting downward pressure on their prices. Without that, all prices will increase. And then the real sort of nail in the coffin was Powell saying, well, this looks kind of inflationary. We're going to be maybe a little bit hawkish here. A lot of people were hoping, well, maybe if the economy crashes, at least rates will come down a little bit. But Powell's like, hey, well, with price action, sort of the way we're seeing price levels rising, I think we have to be kind of cautious here. So not a great situation, but again, with this administration, things can do a complete change, every day. So who knows what's going to happen next. I think if, there's really a lot of pain, then they probably will try and revert course some way. Maybe say, oh, we made a deal and, now we're going to lower these tariffs with this country.
Yeah, I've heard people say that maybe the best strategy is just to have no tariffs, and then the US just sets zero tariffs as well on those countries that do that. But I don't know.
But the logic there, Alex, that'd be perfect, right? But you could use the same thing for anything. You could say, well, we just shouldn't have nukes, or we shouldn't have, no country's ever going to agree to that, unfortunately, which is just the reality of the world. And I think it's going to get ugly before it gets good. I think it's been really bad, and I think we've been getting taken advantage of for a very, very long time. If you actually do your own research and dig into the tariffs that we have been paying, if you don't want to listen to Trump's Office Depot little sign he held up in the Rose Garden, that's fine. You can do it was a tiny little sign. But his numbers are legit. Like, I went and fact checked all those numbers because I was like, there is no way we are being charged 89%. And if you add up all the variables he mentioned, we are. So we have been getting absolutely screwed on imports and exports. So, it's kind of our turn to reciprocate. And of course, it's going to shock the market. But take advantage of it if you can. And just know that it has to get bad temporarily before it gets better long term. That's my very, very uneducated opinion on the topic.
Yeah, I don't know if I can agree with that the sentiment that it has to become bad before it becomes good. Like, you can say that about anything and make it sound good. I don't know.
Makes sense here, though. It does make sense here, though, because we can't just continue to allow other nations to tax us and tariff us without doing the same, or else we're just going to completely get, I don't know. That's my opinion. So by me saying it has to get worse, we have to send tariffs back to these nations. And that's what I'm trying to say about it has to get worse. The market sees that, freaks out a little bit. That's what I imply by it has to get worse. So
yeah, this is spot on here, and I don't often speak on economics, but this is something I believe in 100%. The United States is the largest GDP in the world, and if you look around at everyday citizens, they're all fat, broke, and stressed out, and things have got to change.
Okay, I'm gonna be ready.
But the McRib is back, and we're getting a new Nintendo DS, so we're going to be just fine. I'm sure that DS is going to cost $989, but ready to play some Mario Kart, baby.
Well, I think the most charitable interpretation of this is that because the tariffs are so high, countries come and negotiate some deal where they lower trade barriers for the U.S. In exchange, they get their tariffs lowered. That's kind of, I think, the best case scenario, and then these tariffs don't actually last that long. But if it's sort of a prolonged situation, a lot of these tariff rates that he came up with are not the actual tariff rates that American exports see. They seem to have, rather than actually looking at the real tariff rates, just looked at the trade deficit and divided that by current exports and then set the rate. So it's a little bit arbitrary. And I mean, the United States has a trade deficit with a lot of these countries because they buy American financial products. So typically when you do trade with another country, you know, let's say Europe is doing trade with China. Europe buys goods from China using euros. The Chinese then take those euros and buy goods from Europe using those euros. And, you know, it kind of balances out more or less. With the United States, they are buying a lot of financial products, bonds, that type of thing. So essentially they're making the government able to borrow money more cheaply, and they're giving us, you know, stuff for free. So it's not necessarily, I think, a bad situation. And I think people haven't thought a lot about the second and third order consequences of something like this becoming prolonged. It could be pretty nasty.
It's really basic math here. Chinese people give their lifetime and their energy as humans working in factories to make things that are then sent to the United States, where we consume them and enjoy them, and our life is improved. And all we give them in return is a piece of paper that has a number on it. Like, this is not the trade imbalance you want to fix, right? If anything, we want to be an importing nation. We want to import as much as possible. Have all the other countries do all the work, have our citizens enjoy all the fruit of their labor. This is the wrong way to look at it. It's not a tariff, reciprocal tariff. It is really silly to try and neutralize a import-export imbalance. It's like saying, I just don't want to trade with the world anymore.
Well, I mean, there's dangers to letting the rest of the world produce everything too. There's national security concerns. So you want to strike a balance, but yeah, generally I think trade does make us better off.
Yeah, I agree. Like, you don't want to have 100% of your food come from the outside of your country and then suddenly they shut you off on food. Agreed. You have to be self-sustaining, but luxury stuff and other things, for sure, as much as you can. It'd be nice to have everything that's consumed outside and stuff consumed inside.
We're about to move it into a different world, though, and I think the tariffs are aiming at that new world, and it's the world of the humanoid robots. My brother runs 2 bars. He's going to buy 7 of them and replace workers with them if they were capable enough. And I say it's 5 to 7 years away. Sierra says it's closer, right? But do you want an American business to buy a Chinese robot and replace an American worker with a Chinese robot? That's a huge national security problem, because now that robot can report back home what's going on in every fucking business in America. And we're going to lose all the income from that, and we're going to see a real huge problem of paying for Americans to sit at home coming soon. And we're not thinking that through very well, because it's hard to imagine that world where there's robots working in our businesses, and that world is coming soon. It's already working at the Fremont factory at maybe only 0.1% of the jobs, but next month it'll be 0.2. The month after that it'll be 0.3, right? That's what reinforcement learning is doing right now, is learning how to do more and more and more of the jobs in the Fremont factory. And it's not going to just stop at Fremont factory, right? It's going to go across America. Do you want America to go with Chinese robots or Vietnamese robots and not American ones? And these tariffs are really trying to protect American workers in the short term. It's a lot of pain, a lot of chaos, a lot of uncertainty. Omar is absolutely right about that. But you got to be thinking about the world that's coming.
If you end up with a bunch of Chinese robots in America, Robert, you could make a whole bunch of American robots pretty easily with those Chinese robots. If you're worried about data exfiltration to another country, you can set up a firewall. There are many other ways to deal with these situations.
It's an argument to be had at the White House.
Sierra, you have had your hand up for a while.
Yeah, I remember what I was going to
Cybertruck.
say earlier, but it seems like irrelevant now, so I might put my hand up as a reminder to myself to bring it up shortly because it's lighthearted and fun. But since my mic is open, I will not waste all of your time, and I'll say some words. It's always in the immortal words of Florence and the Machine. It's always darkest before the dawn. All right.
Dark Knight.
Well,
Where those from?
in this case, the government just turned off the lights. I don't think this has anything to do with robots, really.
No, we do here.
This really has to do with people. We're going to have a new president probably before we see widespread adoption of humanoid robots. Unfortunately, I think that's kind of a base case scenario. And if we still have these tariffs in 4 years, nobody's going to have any money for a robot. So I don't think this is really about automation. I think it does accelerate automation.
Well, gave up on that one.
Tariffs stay here a long time. If you can't import goods, there's going to be a huge rush to make things here. And I think automation will play a big role in that. So if they stay long term, then I think it definitely will accelerate. It'll get people to move to, automation faster in whatever form that may be. But right now, this is really, I think, a negotiation that's about people.
I am
All right.
geopolitically stupid. I just want to come right forward and say that I have not paid much attention to geopolitics in my life. I know really nothing about it. But I am very good at business strategy, and my take on what is happening here is Trump is warning China not to take Taiwan.
All sorts of
That's
point returns on that one.
This is about chips,
See how
and
we
it's
do.
about Taiwan. And China has been increasingly gaining power over the U.S. due to our reliance on them for manufacturing needs. And if I were Xi Jinping, I would maybe be thinking it might be a good time to take Taiwan and then seize literal global power. It is part of why the announcement was made that with TSMC,
All right.
it is part of why the announcement was made that with TSMC, that, and I don't know if they gave a timeline on it. I think that they
Well, it parked, but we're right on the line, so I'm going to have to manually
40%
repark. But yeah, great drive. So I'm going to shut her down and head on over to the cookout to the Tesla Center, and I will see y'all in a little bit. Bye-bye. All right, everybody. Back in the Tesla, done at the Tesla Woodlands event. Let's get on the road.
Guys, it's I think it's time. Now we have Metaphor on the stage as well. I think he won 2 weeks ago. He beat a couple of other speakers, and now we have Omar here as well, which is nice because it would be nice to see a heads up or head-to-head match between Omar and Metaphor. Are you up to the task?
I'm only up to the task if he gives me a handicap, because we all know who's going to win.
I have to go pick up my friends from the airport in 45 minutes, so I might not be the best person today.
Oh, you're going to pick up in 45 minutes? Yeah, it's not the 45-minute quiz, Omar. You know this.
Hey, yeah, they're coming back from their honeymoon. They've been in fucking Mexico and South America for weeks, so I gotta be there on time.
Have you guys talked about the new diamond black color already for Tesla that they announced?
Yeah, we have. You mean, Omar, you have to go in 45 minutes or you have to be there in 45 minutes?
The real question is, how much time do you have? That's reasonable.
Like on 3 or after 3?
Exactly. I think the fact that he's silent means he has to go now, guys.
I don't think he wants to play the game. It's all good.
You got the answer.
Oh,
Now you've kind of hyped up that head-to-head match. Now what are you going to do, big guy?
It's going to be you, Landon. What are you talking about?
Your
It's
main
you.
event is on. It's gone.
It's a future tease. Just keep teasing it, and then eventually people have to keep coming back and subscribing to Alex because he hosts the best head-to-heads.
Alex, can I propose a matchup?
yeah, sure. Go ahead, Dallas.
This is the battle of the Lincolns and Landons. This is Lincoln Log City right here. Come on.
I'm in.
Okay, Landon, Lincoln,
Shots
are
fired.
you up for the task?
Oh, I'll lose. I don't know histories like him. But go ahead.
Okay. So,
It's all friendly.
you know the rules.
Meeting a large
You know
pool.
the
We
rules.
don't know the rules. We don't know anything, but just lay it
We'll
on
make
us.
them up. Landon and I make
Okay.
up stuff as we go.
Let's go.
Alexander, as a co-host, do you
okay.
have a role in this game, or I'm just a pretty face?
Try to keep
You can-
Alexander from booting me out of the space.
Not even a pretty face, really.
Yeah. Rules are simple. I read the question. If you know,
I won the
I
first.
gotta enter into ChatGPT. Hang on.
it's 4 rules, Landon. It's 4 rules. Okay.
I was told there would be no math.
Yeah, there's not going to be math. So first question. Are you guys ready?
Go ahead.
What year was the first supercharger built?
Like what?
What year was the first supercharger built?
2013?
What year was the first supercharger built?
Probably should go with 2012.
That's what I was gonna go with. But I'll go 13 out.
13.
You
We
go
both say
13?
13.
Okay, you would have gotten 2 points if you said 2012. So I guess Landon said it first.
All
and
right, we're
then the last
tied.
part
We're
with-
tied, Lincoln.
No, the one that answers firstly get to 1 minus point if they answer incorrectly. So
nice. Winning.
yeah, you were winner.
You didn't ask if that was my final answer.
Yeah, but this is not Jeopardy or whatever.
Okay, I think we
how-
all agree that was just like a test question, right?
Sure. So both of you can answer the bonus questions. How many stations does they have today?
How are we already in the bonus round? 2,269.
I have no idea. I don't know. Like how many individual superchargers or like
Yes, roughly.
locations?
No, he said stations, not cabinets.
Yeah.
2,268.
I have no idea.
Correct answer is 7,000.
Wow. Really?
Oh, I thought he meant in America. Do you guys have superchargers outside of America?
Yeah. So question number 2. Tesla is planning to open
Is this
a
bonus
diner.
or back to regular round?
Every regular question has a bonus. Tesla is planning to open a diner in LA this summer, as you might know. But how many charger stalls will there be?
Oh, this is surprising. There's actually no chargers planned for that station.
That is an incorrect answer.
That's like saying $1 on The Price is Right. It's just like the under, basically.
How do you know, Alexander? You think you know better than we do?
I know because all AI models know.
What happened to Lincoln? He's just not going to answer now and let me just get
I was
the
muted.
negative.
25.
25 is accurate.
Yeah, but Landon didn't actually give an answer. So 1 minus 1 for...
Now I'm in the bonus round.
Yeah, no, you're both are because you couldn't answer the question. The correct answer is 75 actually.
Oh, I was closer. That's
Yeah,
closer than
but
0,
here comes the bonus question. Here comes the bonus question.
Lincoln wins that one, by the way.
Thank you, Dallas.
What other thing than the diner is planned for this site?
Drive-in movie theater.
That is correct, Landon. Nice. Now you have 0 points. Because you had.
Oh, good. Now I can screw around again.
Landon, you should see the apartments behind that screen that just lost their view of LA. It's horrible.
I heard that too, but I assume it's fake news. It just sounds like the haters just lashing out. Because there's laws against that, right? That's what they have urban codes for.
No, it doesn't mean they're not mad, though. Even though it doesn't mean Tesla did anything wrong.
Another courtesy
Do they own Teslas? Do they get like free charging? What if they said, okay, you get free movies and free charging and free burgers?
Free movies.
Okay, if anyone...
I got you. I help you. I mute everyone. Let's back to the game.
You muted everyone when they stopped talking. Great job, Ellie. Well, thank you.
I'm gonna drop my... I'm not gonna help you.
I'm sorry, Ellie. Don't be mad. Okay, let's go on. So, third question.
What's the score right now, though?
It's gonna be way less for you to keep talking. So, the T in Tesla logo isn't just a stylish letter. It's also reference to what?
It is the cross section
What's his question?
of a electric motor.
And Landon just got 2 points. That is correct. And Landon exclusively gets to answer the bonus question.
I used Tussletown's logo as my reminder device.
Tesla considered other names for the company before settling on Tesla. What other name is known to have been considered?
Nikola.
Yeah, I would say Nikola, but I don't know. Maybe.
That was what was inspired by to come to Tesla. There's another name.
ACDC. Actually, I have no idea.
No, actually, Hammer Motors were one of the things they were considering, or one of the names.
But they didn't go with that.
It would be fitting with Iron Man, Hammer Industries, or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's good reference. But I got that one right, didn't I? Or did you hear my answer?
I heard your answer. You guys want to give Landon? Okay. You guys want to give Landon a point for this or not?
Now, this was a bonus question that Lincoln couldn't answer anyway, if you remember.
Yeah, but you don't get a point for Lincoln not answering. Anyways, fourth question. The Model S was nearly called something else. What other name was Tesla considering?
Good question. I can't remember.
Any guesses? No? 3, 2, 1. It was actually the Model E.
No, this is inaccurate. The Model 3 was almost called the Model E, but Ford wouldn't sell them the rights. There was a code name for Model S that I thought you were going for, but I still can't come up with it. Am I wrong about your question?
That was, I think it was Gold Star or something. The code name was, or now Bright Star.
Yeah,
or maybe that was Model X.
Something like that.
Yeah, I thought that as well, but I double checked this. Several sources says that this is true.
It's hallucination. It's absolutely false. No doubt about it.
Okay, let's. Okay, then also the bonus question will makes no sense because you already said that. So I guess I give you 1 point for the bonus question.
No, you just need to argue with you and disagree. And get
because he already.
That's how I get everything in life.
Who took aim first, and it was Ford. That was the correct answer, and you already said that, so it didn't make sense for me to ask that question. The fifth and final question, or almost
I've been waiting for this one.
Okay. What video
What's
game?
the score? What's the score before we go into this important fifth question?
You have 3 points. Lincoln have -1.
No, I have 1. What?
Okay, you have 1. I give you 1. No problem.
See?
All you have to do is complain.
Yeah. So, what video game was Cybertruck partially influenced by?
Video game.
Days X 2020 something.
Oh, good. Now that he's answered, it's Blastar. I'm going to say Blastar.
No, it's it is Blastar?
No. It's,
wait, I have another guess. Okay. Yeah.
So
Cyberpunk 2077 or something. What is it?
That's the one I was going for.
Yeah, no, Halo. The Warhog.
Wow.
I think the vehicle is called. Yeah, I played Halo a lot of times. Halo is a great game. Actually, in co-op with friends. Also nice. But we have a bonus question. During the Cybertruck unveil, France famously cracked the armed glass with a steel ball. What was the stated reason for this test failing?
Because they tested it earlier and it was partially like down already or something because the test they did earlier.
Yep, that's what we heard. Everybody took a shot with the steel ball in the backstage, or at least a few people did, and maybe weakened it.
My correct answer to this question was the earlier test with the sledgehammer chipped the corner of the glass.
Yeah, we heard that too. I don't think that's been confirmed, but yeah, those are all the stories.
I think those are both right because I've literally heard both of those stories on podcasts and stuff like that.
Sweet. So I guess the winner is Landon.
It's a tie. I'd like to tie.
I think it's a tie.
Yeah.
Congrats, Landon. It's a good Friday.
Congratulations, Lincoln. It's a pleasure working with you.
We were shut down. We weren't able to do our thing too much.
It's a daytime space. They have rules.
That's true.
It's not a daytime space for me.
That's awesome.
I know. So now the questions are open. I have no more topics for today. I had some topics, but I don't know. They are not top class. So let's just move on to whatever you guys want to talk about, I guess. Okay, conversation starter. We had April Fool's jokes this week. What was your guys' favorite joke, or that gave you like the most laughs, I guess?
Everybody's really afraid of April Fool's jokes. You know, like corporations were getting into it like 10 years ago, and then everybody was afraid to put a foot wrong and, you know, get brand damage. So I don't know if it should just should it go away? I mean, because there's occasionally some funny things. But this year, I actually got emails from companies that said, okay, now we're going to put out an April Fool's joke. It's just a joke. Now, don't tell anybody that it's a joke, but it's just going to be a joke, so you'll know that we were joking and you don't have to cancel us.
What is the origin of this freaking thing?
Good question.
That's a great question. I don't know where it comes from. I bet we could rock it.
I guess Grok will just blow up something.
I think it's a Swedish tradition. I'm just going to say that. Because I can remember, like, I don't know, when did this come to the US? Have this been a thing as long as you
guys? It always has been since I was born.
Last year was the first year.
Same here for me.
Yeah, okay. Because I've seen like like old movies from the 40s and 50s, and that was still a thing there. Done. So I don't know.
What you like old movies? What kind of movies do you like? What's your favorite old movie?
Old movie? Like, I'm not that. This was like Swedish-made movies for like kids and stuff in the 50s and 60s, so this won't make any sense to you.
I think Landon need to be asked the same question. Well, what kind of classic movies do you like, Landon?
Well, I grew up with my dad watching really old movies like Casablanca, and it's kind of a World War II movie, and it's interesting that it was made during the war. So I don't know how they did that. Like, did they know the war was going to end, and so they just wrapped? But it's kind of cool. It's got all these big names in there, Humphrey Bogart, and so it's a lot of memes of the 1940s would come from Casablanca, the movie.
I see we have JC back on the stage. JC, what are you up to today? I know you're doing something special.
Play it again, Sam. Is that right,
He
Landon?
must be driving to Wichita again.
No.
It's gonna have a place.
I'm coming
whatever
back.
The story is.
I'm leaving the Woodlands, or I've just left the Woodlands, the Tesla service center and delivery center in the Woodlands, and I'm heading to Porter, Texas. Big Porter.
You had Clinton out there cooking brats on his Cybertruck?
He was. He's got talk about a nice setup. He fabbed that whole thing himself. Got a water pump on it. Last time I saw a pump that big, my granddaddy got a surgery when he was 88.
Whoa. What?
Your wife with you?
Nah, hell no.
Okay, continue.
Yeah, he was amazing. He was one of the vendors for the Chattanooga Charge this last weekend, and he cooked most of the food for the event, and he did it on this kitchen that was built into the Cybertruck. It was really good. It's like version 2 or version 3, but I'll find it so you guys can follow him, because he's a hell of a Cybertruck mod guy.
Yeah, it was great. He was making brats, and he was serving all the service team members. It was great. We got to take pictures with all the Tesla employees there, and yeah, his setup is really, really cool. I told him he ought to think about fabbing a whole bunch of them and making them into kits for people that they could put into their own Cybertrucks. But no, I had a good time. We spent about a little bit north of an hour out there, and yeah, just making my way back to Porter now. So I'm enjoying listening to Landon and Lincoln, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, try to get through trivia on Tesla. And
I'm dumb. He's deep.
Did you get any of the bonus questions right, JC?
The only one I came close to, I would have said 2012 on the first supercharger. I would have not known anything on the name. I would have probably guessed Nikola as well on the name. But the rest of it, I think Alexander's coming up with some weird EU rules on some of these questions. They're designed for you to lose. They're designed to put you behind
questions.
Yeah, they're designed to put you behind the 8 ball. It's like he's got some American hatred. And so this is his chance once a week. I think he tells all his Swedish buddies that he's going to get online and just humiliate. And he did. He humiliated both of you. But he's going to just humiliate Americans online. And they just love it. There's probably 40,000 Swedish people listening to this right now.
Well, Europeans love their taxes, don't they? If you go to a casino, you can tell the European games like Baccarat, because when you win, they take out of your winnings a tax that goes back to the table. It goes into the kitty. This is true. Baccarat has a tax.
Texas Hold'em also have a freaking tax, so I guess that's that. But I mean, usually Americans get upset when they don't win. That's my observation.
It doesn't happen often where we don't.
The Swedish don't get upset when they lose?
Yeah, but guys, I remember when back when we had the joint training with the military back in, I think it was 2003. Sweden, they sent a submarine in a joint exercise with the U.S. Navy.
Oh my God, that's what you're gonna hang your hat on? That you beat a bunch of drunk sailors who are hung over and probably just got pulled out of the brig the night before from running around Sweden or Finland or wherever the hell. It's all one country anyway. Why do y'all even divide it up into three? It's all one country.
I knew exactly what nerve to strike here.
If you tune in later to my podcast, I'll be doing some joint training of my own.
Yeah, well, let's be nice here. We can all be friends in a way. I mean, come on, guys. We give you
This is us being nice. This is the definition of us being nice. Lincoln learned this like 5 years ago with me, is that if I don't like you, I probably won't even respond, right? I mean, this is because we love you and we appreciate how hard it is to do a space and to host. So we razz you and we beat you up and we love being here, and we wouldn't be here if we didn't love it.
Absolutely.
Oh, I've seen the dark side of fandom. You don't want to see that.
Yeah, it's when you
What do you mean about the dark side? Okay.
Yes, pictures.
Yes, pictures.
I've seen the dark side. The other side of the moon.
Alex, I've maintained this stance since this space began. I love hosting, but this is still my favorite Tesla space on X, and that's true to this day. So any haters can ask me that and myself, and I'll gladly tell them that.
Thank you, Dallas. So anything that we didn't talk about that you guys feel that we should have brought up? I guess not.
Do we want to talk about, I know we talked about the early access thing a lot, but do you kind of want to get a pulse on people's opinions on if this reinforces their belief that we hit that June deadline in Austin, or how does it, do you feel like this translates it all over to that?
Yeah, I mean, my take is they kind of need to do this to validate the software, right? Because this, to me, it seems like this will be the same software that runs on the like robo-taxi prototypes, right?
Well, that's what I was saying earlier, is we're currently running, in my opinion, we're currently running a very close version to what they're going to run in robo-taxis and in Model Ys in June in this rollout. And I don't need to be convinced by this, because for the team, Elon and the team separately, to come out in the last couple of weeks and say, we're on track for June. They didn't have to do that. And we all expected maybe this stuff to slip, just because software development timelines slip more often than they don't. But it's looking really good, and I still don't care if it's June or whatever, but I just hope it lines up with a shareholder meeting and a Starship launch, and we can all go to Texas and party.
Let's run some bets.
Sure.
Well, I'm not impressed by them launching a mobile app update that has a button in it that doesn't do anything. What would impress me is if they actually sent out a software update to the early access team and it was like, wow, this is really good. Because the update we have is pretty good, but it also isn't quite ready to give rides yet. Little things like, for example, there was a guy, pulling out, and I was giving Uber rides with it, and it just kind of pulled over. right in front of this guy who was trying to pull out of the parking spot. And I had to manually just kind of reverse a little bit to let him out. Not a huge deal, would have just maybe annoyed the guy, but there's a few T's to cross and I's to dot. Obviously, listening for emergency vehicles, that's going to be an important one for actually doing unsupervised. The longer context window, the bigger model, destination options, a lot of these are going to be important for, sort of a full supervised rideshare service. So that's the real proof, is when they send us the update. Until then, we have no idea what the state is from, November when we got this model, really. Because, yeah, it works really well, but it worked pretty well in November, too. So what does the new version look like? And I think that's what's exciting, is that they're probably gearing up to launch that. But it won't be until it actually ships that we know how close they actually are. And I guess it'll be hard for people to tell the difference between this new model and unsupervised FSD.
Any other comments? Or else
I'm excited. I'm excited for sure. I think they're gonna start rolling out some of these features, some of these final features that we haven't seen yet. And I think not only will it be like destination choices, and there's so many complex situations upon destination, and you can't train for everything, right? I mean, they're just trying to train. They're just getting a lot of data, so I think they're going to need people to really, I'm guessing, be proactive and share a lot of this.
Okay, question for the panel
issues
on
they're
this.
having.
Right, Lincoln, what would you do here? If you were coming out with robotaxi in June, and I don't know the answer here, would you put the software on it that's been running for 6 months, that's been validated by all of these users, or would you put like one of the first 5 versions of whatever we would call it, 13.3 or 13.4 or version 14? And of course, I'm getting to my thought is that they wouldn't want to throw a much newer model onto these vehicles. They'd want to go with one that's been tested for 6 months, but I really don't know what I'm talking about.
I'm just excited.
I mean, we're a few months away from. So even if they launch something now, it's a few months away. If they launch a robotaxi service with 13.2.8, we're all fucked. Sell your Tesla stock. It's going to crash into something. It's not, it's going to cause mass embarrassment. This version obviously isn't ready to be a robotaxi. It's getting pretty good, but there is still a gap that it needs to cross. So, yeah, I think they're going to have a new model that goes unsupervised. It won't be the same model.
We're just not feature complete yet, in my opinion. And I know I've received some pushback on that as well, but we're not. Destination arrivals really don't exist. Yesterday I had a cool one, actually. I kind of was like, wait a second, it's always going to the pin that I'm trying to go to, but maybe I can actually put a pin exactly where I want to go to, because the building I was going to, massive facility, but the parking garage I really needed to be at was on the other side of where the pin was on Google. So I put a pin directly on the parking garage that I wanted to go into, and the car literally went a completely different route. It was so cool, and I'm going to start doing this now and building my own little favorites in my folder on my nav. The car went to the guard shack of the parking garage, turned in. The way I helped it know where I wanted to go was the blinkers. So when I went in the garage, sure, I did use a little bit of the pedal, so this is not perfect, but went up the ramp, made the loop all the way up the parking garage, and then I auto parked. So I would tell it, obviously, okay, I want to go right, use the blinker, because it would sometimes get stuck, but I never disengaged.
I gotta get involved here. This is
it was awesome.
This is control. You gotta let go of your control and let the system do its work. I would be with you.
Well, it got stuck. With you. I had to intervene.
Just don't use the phrase feature complete, because that is an Elon Tesla phrase that's had on their website for years with bullet points. And so you can't add bullet points to what Tesla considers feature complete, but I do agree with you that those are the next steps.
Yeah, it's not feature complete in my opinion, and I think most people would agree that.
Well, this is not an opinion, but do you understand that Tesla says that the software will be feature complete with certain bullet points? They defined the rules of feature complete, so you're adding new bullet points.
Sure, I guess so. And JC's actually gone into detail. I don't know if he's still in here, but on like almost like an accounting level for it to be feature complete. Isn't that important, JC? Are you still up here? My speaker list thing is off.
No, I can hear you. I'm just I nearly. The lady next to me when Omar was talking, I laughed so damn loud. The lady next to me got scared. I'm sorry, guys. I'm still laughing at Omar. What were y'all talking about? Feature complete and shit?
Feature complete is just a software development term that means all the features that are planned are implemented. So, if you talk about feature complete by historical standards, I think a lot of the main features are implemented. There's obviously still an upcoming improvement section, and there's a bunch of new features they're working on. There are several key features that are missing for unsupervised, like, for example, responding to sirens or something like that. A few other things, the way it pulls over, searching for a parking spot, which isn't necessarily needed for robotaxi, but that's something they've talked about. So, yeah, there's several things they need to add before it can go unsupervised. This model they're shipping currently isn't quite capable of unsupervised operation. The failure modes are also a little bit different. You can't just throw up the red hands and ask someone to take over. You need to have different failure mitigation strategies. So, it's getting pretty complete, but we need maybe one or two more models before they can start doing unsupervised. And even then, there's going to be a lot of improvement.
Getting over quick.
A lot of new features that are added. But at some point, you get to a place where it does everything you could possibly want it to do, and now you're just improving the reliability and making sure it crashes less.
Okay, I'll take the L on that one, because I don't know the software development terms, but it seems to me that it's not even a good model to use for Tesla that's just adding stuff all the time. But I give in, and of course I know it's not doing all the things we wanted to. I just wonder if that's a great description, because there'll always be something new. But okay.
Well, it's not like a precise term. It's not like there's like a defined state of feature complete. Feature complete just means we've implemented all the features. Some of them don't work yet, so it's not actually done, but all the features are there, right? So that's kind of what feature complete means. So feature complete was something that when Elon used to say it back in the day, he was really saying it's going to be able to do all the things. It doesn't mean necessarily that there won't be interventions.
I'd also disagree with the earlier claim that you wouldn't release a completely new model. The simulators and the testing suites now are so good that you can rebuild a complete new model and test it out and make sure it's perfect before releasing it, all virtually, all in their own simulators. So I think you're in a new world of software now with AI and what they're doing internally.
Okay, I guess that's that, guys. Or you want to have something else? Or is it weekend for me? It is weekend for me, but okay. It's been a good space today. and it's been a interesting week, and I guess next week will be interesting as well. Let's see what happens over the weekend, and hopefully you guys that requested for the test version or whatever of FSD, that you get it next week or this weekend. That will be really awesome. Then we have a lot of talk about on Monday in Dallas space. I will be traveling, business traveling next week, so I will be not even be inside Sweden, so I might not be able to join Monday to Wednesday, but I will see what I can do.
Otherwise, he'd have to pay a tariff on his space.
I was going to ask you for an update on all the Swedish strikes and the other things. I haven't heard anything about that. Has everybody settled down now?
No, it's still going on. EF Metal is still standing outside with their tents outside the Tesla, some of the Tesla stores. And the Tesla is not giving in for this at all. We actually had it this week news that an insurance company, Swedish insurance company called Folksam, they sold all their Tesla shares worth about 1.6 billion Swedish crowns, which is $160 million. They stated the reason for this was that they tried to persuade Tesla to give in to the union demands, but they were unsuccessful, so they sold all their shares. But they have held the Tesla shares since 2013, so I don't know. But
we see this again and again. It's almost like you can predict it in 5 years when Tesla stock is 10x or 15x from here, which it will. These are going to be the companies that are used as the example that say, look at the people that tried to keep Tesla from bringing sustainable energy to the world. And there you go. There's just another perfect example. Sell at the bottom. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. Great right. Job. They sold, imagine, they sold last week or something like that, and they could have sold in December, right? They lost, they didn't lose money, but they could have sold for much higher, right? So that was pretty stupid, especially now in this time where we have upcoming robotaxis and stuff. Selling now is, you will feel the pain. So I guess that's that. But I'm gonna rug it now. Thank you to all the speakers as usual.
Thank you.
Always great to host this movie week. And I will probably see you in. I hear myself.
Yeah, that's all good. It's real bad.
Okay.
It's Bluetooth on the Tesla.
Just going to say goodbye. Thanks for a good show. I built a new list of the Tesla community. If you want to follow 600 people in the community, go see my list.
Thank you, Robert. So, yeah, guys, I guess I see you in other spaces. Otherwise, I'll see you next Friday. And 20th episode. We have been going on this for 5 months. Can you believe it? 5 months. I been on X now for about a year consistently. So, yeah, we have come a long way. And I hope for other great conversations in the future. So, with that said, guys, if you play to win. See you next week.
All right. Great space. So yeah, we listened to that all the way up there, and Alexander's space almost took us all the way home. All but about 10 minutes of it, the last 10 minutes. So yeah, the cookout was great. We the end of it goes by Vanquish Foes on X. That's his handle, and he has basically a kitchen built into the back of his Cybertruck that he fabbed out himself. And it's amazing. I mean, it's got a water pump for water. Obviously, you know, you can cook on. I mean, it was just fantastic. So he was making brats. Yeah, it was great. So met up with some of the Tesla community members here in the Woodlands area. But mainly got to meet some of the Tesla employees, the service center and delivery center employees. Looks like that place is pretty doggone new. I want to say that shopping center used to be a Randall's, and I think Randall's left a couple of years ago. And so I'm pretty doggone sure that place is pretty brand new for Tesla, but it's huge. It's not as big as Cypress. I mean, Cypress is still the biggest in Texas, but it's going to be a really nice showroom, delivery center, service center. It's going to be able to do it all. So excited about that. So it was great meeting all the employees there, letting them know we're behind them, fix them some brats, get some pictures, tell them we love them, and that we support them and we thank them for everything that they do, how hard they work. And yeah, as far as the drives to the Woodlands and back, I mean, they've been great. Absolutely fantastic. I'm trying to think back it definitely did a handful of really, really good FSD moves. Nothing that like just blew my socks off, right? When I'm thinking of the 5 or 6 really good things that it did, I mean, it was all good, obviously, right? I mean, look at us. This whole time. But you know what I'm talking about. Every drive, you'll have a small handful of things that's like, wow, that is just so good. And it definitely had that, but it wasn't like it was something I'd never seen before. Nothing emerged today, I should say. But some of the merging it did with traffic and getting up onto the freeway, especially the feeder over there, the feeder to get onto 59 East Tex Freeway, man, it did because that was a smorgasbord of traffic on that feeder. And not only did it need to be able to get out into it, it needed to book it to the left to get up on the freeway. And it did it, man. It was just fantastic. Fantastic. So, yeah, a couple of really, really, I mean, obviously we're not home free yet. We're still 2.5 miles away from my house, but, yeah, just fantastic. Saw X-Man, Bruce, gonna try to hook something up for next week, do some lunch again. We did lunch several months back, and we were gonna get like a nice little, monthly routine going, and then I had to bail on him. He was giving me crap about that. That's fine. I deserve it. But I had to bail on him because of my wife's new job. Hey, at the end of the day, my wife, it was, never mind. I was going to say, what's that old saying, bros before? No. Well, that saying ends once you're married. That bro before, you know what? That goes out the window. Kaput. Finito. Yeah, if you do that when you're married, you just say, bros before my house. Bros before my bills and half of everything I own. All right. Interesting. Okay, we're coming up to the intersection of 494 and Knox. We've got some school buses at the intersection. Looks like one of them's getting ready to do a left turn from their perspective. Oh. All right, we kind of went at the same time as the school bus there. I think they were hesitating a bit. Wow, look at this mass of school buses. Yeah, that kind of worked out perfectly for both us and the school bus. We found a nice little gap there where we were both able to get through. But man, look at this. See, they need to get that light going. This would not exist if there was a light there at the intersection of Adams and 494. This is just crazy. Absolutely crazy. Man, you can't even make a left turn up here. I guess they haven't been leaving any courtesy gaps. We'll see. This is nuts. Look at this. Now we're getting backed up because they're probably not leaving courtesy gaps up there. All right, let me see if I'm going to need to intervene with that big old trailer. I don't know if FSD is going to try to get around that trailer, though. And it is, and it doesn't. Oh, are you gonna keep going? Keep going, keep going. There you go. Good job. So that trailer was way out there. I wasn't even sure FSD was gonna try to get around that trailer, and it did, but it kind of got stuck there. And it just wanted to make sure it didn't go in the ditch that was directly in front of us. I'm okay with that. I thought I might have to intervene once I knew we were good to go. I thought I might have to give it a quick accelerator push, but I didn't. It figured it out itself. Great job. So there I was talking about 5 or 6 really good moves. I will say that's probably one I haven't seen before. I mean, obviously I've seen FSD make left turns around vehicles that have a wide berth, but that one was pretty doggone good. That one was about as wide a berth as I've seen. They were literally, that trailer, they left no courtesy gap. Zilch. Their trailer was basically taking up most of that lane, and FSD found a way around. I would say it did better than the vehicles directly in front of us, although it did get itself a little bit stuck there. Just again, wanted to make absolutely sure that it didn't go into the ditch. And I am perfectly fine with that. And once it was confident, all right, we gotta, what are they gonna do here? Okay. Yeah. Man, we got all sorts of vehicles just kind of doing interesting stuff. Of course, in fairness to the Tacoma in front of us, that cul-de-sac there, I mean, it's tough to come out of that and not have kind of a weird angle. Excuse me. All right, take our turn. I'll tell you what else, man. It has been windy today. I could feel it. Like, FSD did amazing, but I could definitely feel how windy it was. And I'm going to tell you what, FSD comes in. I will tell you, I think Tesla FSD is a lot safer than most humans on really windy days, right? Because it's solely focused on staying within those white lines. And humans can overcompensate when they get, you know, whipped by a strong gust. So, get scared, overcompensate, tighten up. Well, FSD doesn't have that issue. It's not alive. It doesn't get scared. Yeah. Isn't that the most ironic thing in the world? Is a lot of times some of the worst disasters that can happen is when people get tense and scared and they overcompensate on certain things or take over something when had they just left it alone, they would have likely been fine. Excuse me. Yeah, you can hear that. Even going 26 miles an hour, you can hear that wind. You see it in the trees. All right, turning onto my street. Gonna make a left turn. We'll see how we do parking today, if it does anything interesting or just drops us off. And if it just drops us off, that's fine. No big whoop. We'll see. All right, my brother-in-law's home. See his big old GMC Sierra. Let's see what we do. Let's see what we do. Oh, we're going to try to park front ways. Yep, there's my brother-in-law. And awesome. So it did park. So it parked straight in here. Y'all can wave to my brother. Let's see if he sees me. If he'll wave to you. So he's doing good. Wave to him. Wave to him. Wave to him. There you go. See, he's doing better. So yeah, it did pretty good. I'm gonna have to redo the parking though. So, all right, everybody. Well, I hope y'all have a great Friday. I hope y'all rest of your Friday. I hope y'all have a great weekend. I love you, and I'll talk to all of y'all again soon. Bye bye.